Now joined by Sam Albert, the head coach of the Kiski Area Cavaliers, as his team about to begin the Class 4A postseason. And first off, Sam, congratulations. I'm guessing a few weeks ago, probably not many people thought your team would be in this spot. After a 1-4 start, you turn it around, you get into the postseason with a record of 5-5. What changed at about the midway point of the season?
I've told our kids for years, every team, it's not about skill set. It's about confidence and believing in each other. We had some injuries in the beginning and we're young. It didn't help that we played Pine Richland and bigger teams to start. But I really believe our kids just kept working hard, kept getting better, and they bought in. You see it at every level. Once a team starts to win, they start to believe in each other, and they become very dangerous. And our kids did a great job winning 4 out of 5.
Well, you mentioned skill set earlier. Certainly your team has some skill as well. Carson Heinley has had a terrific season at quarterback. It seems like there's a different receiver who has a big performance each and every week. You've run the football well this season also. What has stood out about your skill guys, and what has allowed them to have such big offensive campaigns?
The first thing is our offensive line has really started to gel. Our offensive line coaches do a great job. And it all starts up front. Carson has been a beast last year and this year. He runs, he throws. We knew we had good receivers out wide, and it helped that Landon Kuzik started to run the ball extremely well, which, if they take people out of the box to cover your wideouts, then you run the ball. But I really believe it started up front with our offensive line.
Well, you mentioned the offensive line doing a good job and your quarterback, Carson Heinley. Isaiah Gonzalez certainly is in that discussion as well for his contributions. I know we just talked to him as one of our players of the week recently. When you think about what his best attributes are, what comes to mind?
Him and Terry Martin both. Terry's 6'4", Isaiah's 6'3". They both can run. They're both smart. And to me, what sets them apart is they're coachable. They do whatever you ask them. There's never a question. They're not selfish. They could care who catches the ball. And again, their physical attributes are they're both very tall, rangy, and they catch the ball and run very well.
You mentioned that you had to go on a nice little run to get into the postseason to finish this season. Well, it seemed like it really started with the victory against Highlands, and I'm sure that was an interesting one for you. You go back to Highlands, where you coached for a long time, and you get a thrilling win. What was that moment like for you personally and for the team as a whole to kind of start this late season rally?
Yeah, we played very well against Indiana, and then we played Highlands, and going back home, I taught there for 38 years, was the head coach for 20. It was exciting. And the kids told me before the game, Coach, this one's for you. So it meant a lot. And they're a very talented football team, and their whole staff either played for me or coached for me. So it was a great win. And as far as, the season, I think that was the game that really made our kids believe that, hey, wait a minute, we are pretty good. And again, it continued on to the next 2 games.
Yeah, and of course, you have the victory against Armstrong to get into the playoffs, 42-34. So you knew you were in. That's the biggest and most important aspect of it. But what did you think of your seeding when you found out you were the 11 seed compared to what maybe you had anticipated?
Yeah, I've done this for so long, and I've been the 1 seed. I've been the 11 seed. When you get to the playoffs, it's a celebration for your team and all their hard work. And to get anywhere, you're going to play good teams no matter what. So it really didn't matter to us. We're just excited to get in. And TJ, I've played them 3 or 4 times in the playoffs when I was at Highlands. Chirp does a great job. They're Cloud's team, so it's going to be a challenge. But again, it doesn't really matter who you play. That first round is a challenge no matter where you're seated.
Well, let's talk about the Jaguars a little bit. You mentioned the storied history of their program with Bill Chirpek and all the championships. I know that he's got his staples that he likes to stick with, and that's running the football and winning in the trenches. But they've also added a pretty dangerous passing attack in recent years. What makes them so challenging to play against?
You just said it. Like, when I played them before, they were a running football team. So again, not that they weren't multifaceted, but they mostly run the football. So you could load up the box. Would have changed. Now they have a tremendous passing game with skilled kids all over the field. So you can't load up the box on them. They got a 247-pound tailback. It's probably bigger than most of our teams. So, they can run the ball. They're coached well. They throw the ball extremely well. So I look for them to go very, very far. And as he does a fantastic job. They're going to be in the right place. They're not going to make mistakes. But we're excited, like we really are. Our kids are excited to be in the playoffs, and it really doesn't matter who we play.
I know one thing that I noticed earlier in the season, I'm guessing it's still the case, is that they alternate quarterbacks throughout a game, both very talented. What do you think of that, and what challenge does that present, knowing that there's two different guys to prepare for?
Wouldn't it be great to have two kids like that? We're blessed with Carson, but my God, to imagine 1 6'4", he throws a lightning beams. The other kid's just as good coming in, so you can rest them. Yeah, it's challenging. I don't know, because they don't lose a beat when they bring the other kid in. He's just as talented. They both can run. They both throw well. So yeah, it is. It's going to be difficult preparing for one, let alone two.
If you are to pull off the upset, what would be keys to victory?
No mistakes on our part. We need to tackle, and our kids need to play. They just need to continue to get better, continue to believe in each other. And, you see it all the time. It doesn't, anything can happen, and Friday nights are so exciting, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, we need to play almost a perfect game to be on the field with them.
Lastly, what will stand out about this team when you think back to the 2023 version? What do you like most, or what's unique about this year's version of the Cavaliers?
You know what? I told the kids before the season, I love this group of kids. They're coachable. The seniors would come to my house to eat, and I live 35 minutes away. It's not like it's down the street. So they're a close-knit group, but what probably impressed me more than anything, you're 1-4. It's hard to get kids to believe, they go home and hear a whole different story about what should be happening. But they didn't buy into any of that. They believed in each other. We stayed together. My coaches did a great job being positive, and it worked out. They started to believe in each other and the program, and we turned it around.
Well, Sam, congrats on getting into the playoffs. I know it's a big accomplishment, and good luck on Friday.
Hey, thank you so much.